Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really plunge into different sources and pull out those key insights, the things that help you feel genuinely informed, maybe even find a few surprises. Today, I want you to think about something pretty amazing. How can an idea, something born from deep personal struggle in one little corner of the world, how does that possibly grow and spread and then become this global movement, giving hope, real practical help, to millions of people across totally different cultures?
It is a big question, isn't it? And that's exactly our mission today. We're digging into the incredible story of Alcoholics Anonymous AA and its journey, really, to becoming this worldwide fellowship. We want to pinpoint those key moments in its expansion, look at the foundational principles that allowed it to go global, and explore those shared human things that let AA cross borders, languages, cultures.
Yeah, and we're pulling this together from some really rich material. We've got historical accounts like Alcoholics Anonymous Comes of Age, which is just invaluable for the early days. Then, of course, the foundational text, the big book. It lays out the program, sure, but it also has all those powerful personal stories of recovery. And we've also got these deeply personal reflections, from collections like Daily Reflections and Experience Strength and Hope. So let's get into how this movement managed to spread right across the globe.
Okay, so to really grasp the global thing, you have to start right back at the beginning, those incredibly humble origins. AA started with the co-founders, Dr. Bob and Bill W., in Akron and New York. This was back in the late 1930s. And the struggle at first, it was very, very real. Even after they'd poured all their experience into writing what became the big book, get this. By April 1939, when the book came out, there were still only about maybe 40 confirmed recoveries across just 3 small groups.
Wow, 40. That really hits home, doesn't it? How small and, frankly, fragile it must have felt back then. It was completely grassroots. But then something started to change. That tiny ripple, it began to pick up speed.
Exactly. And this is where early publicity, sort of unexpected publicity, played a massive part in the U.S. expansion. You take Jack Alexander's article in the Saturday Evening Post in 1941. That piece basically introduced AA to mainstream America. And the sources call what happened next a mushrooming process. Suddenly, boom. By the end of 41, membership hit 8,000. AA went from this tiny thing to a national institution.
8,000. And wasn't there something about Rockefeller, too?
Oh, absolutely. John D. Rockefeller Jr., the philanthropist, he hosted this dinner for Alcoholics Anonymous. That event alone apparently helped double the total membership in just 1 year. Imagine getting that kind of endorsement back then. It was huge validation.
So the numbers exploded, but it wasn't just about getting bigger in New York and Akron, right? It spread out.
That's the fascinating part. The growth dispersed really quickly. Groups started popping up all over. You see them forming in big cities like Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, and then even beyond that. By September 1940, other Ohio towns had meetings. Toledo, Youngstown, Dayton, Ravenna, Worcester, Canton. It wasn't just central growth. It was this organic spread. It showed that AA was tapping into something fundamental, a real human need.
Okay, but that kind of fast, almost wildfire growth, it must have come with some serious headaches.
Oh, definitely. The sources call it a fearsome and exciting adolescent period. Lots of growing pains. They talk about quarrels over membership, leadership, and money. People were trying to figure out, what is this thing? How does it actually work when you scale it up?
Sounds chaotic.
It probably was, but it forced them to learn something absolutely crucial. AAs had to hang together or die separately. That became a core understanding, and Cleveland was a key testing ground for this. Articles about AA ran in the local paper, The Plain Dealer, and membership just exploded from a few dozen into hundreds overnight.
Wow. So Cleveland became like a case study.
Pretty much. That sudden surge proved a few critical things all at once. It showed the value of personal sponsorship, that one-on-one guidance for newcomers, super important. It also proved the worth of the AA book for getting the core message across quickly and consistently. And maybe most importantly, it showed the tremendous fact that AA, when the word really got around, could now soundly grow to great size. Cleveland sort of became the blueprint.
A blueprint that clearly worked, because the next step was taking it global. That jump from local Ohio roots to worldwide reach is, well, it's kind of mind-blowing. If we jump ahead to July 1950, there's this really crucial decision made at the first AA International Convention, and they held it in Cleveland. Deliberately.
Right, back where they learned those early lessons. And this convention wasn't just a get-together. It was a huge step toward worldwide unity and function, because that's where they officially approved the 12 traditions. These aren't the steps for personal recovery. They're the guidelines for the groups, for the fellowship itself. How it operates stays unified.
That makes sense. You need structure for that kind of scale.
Exactly. And that convention really set the stage. Just 7 years later, 1957, the first Overseas General Service Board was set up in Great Britain and Ireland. By then, AA was already pretty global. The sources say over 200,000 members in 7,000 groups in 70 countries and U.S. possessions.
70 countries by 1957. 70. That's incredible reach in less than 2 decades.
It really, really is. And later on, it just kept growing, becoming this multifaceted worldwide fellowship, estimated at more than 2 million strong. Just think about that starting point of 40 people.
And it wasn't just meetings in church basements, right?
Yep.
It reached into institutions, too.
Yeah, that's another layer of the global impact. The sources mention groups forming in hundreds of places, like hospitals and prisons worldwide, 265 hospitals and 335 prisons. Think about bringing that message of hope and recovery into those often isolated, really challenging environments. It speaks volumes about the program's adaptability.
What drove that belief, though, that this thing from America would work everywhere?
It seems to be this core conviction. What has proved so true here in America will probably prove true in many a far-off land. A belief in the universality of the problem and the solution. They genuinely expected to see AA groups in India and in Thailand and in many other faraway places. It wasn't just wishful thinking, and they actively helped it along. Apparently, medical papers published in the U.S. were shared internationally and really helped foreign groups get started faster, saving them the years that are once required here in America to figure things out.
That's smart. Sharing the knowledge. And you see these specific places pop up in the stories, don't you?
Absolutely. You read accounts mentioning groups in Glasgow, Scotland, or even somewhere like Bulawayo, Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. It just grounds it, doesn't it? Shows how it took root in real communities, connecting people facing the same struggles across huge distances, different cultures.
So how did they manage that? How do you maintain unity across all that diversity without some central command?
That's where the framework comes in. It's built on what AA calls its 3 legacies: recovery, unity, and service. These are described as the basic service that AA's fellowship gives, the main reason for our existence. They're the pillars holding up the whole global structure.
Okay, recovery, unity, service. And the 12 traditions are how they actually do that.
Exactly. The traditions are the practical guidelines. They allow for that global unity while, crucially, respecting local autonomy. That's key for a worldwide movement. Let's look at Tradition 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole.
Right, so local groups can kind of do their own thing, adapt to local culture maybe, as long as it doesn't mess things up for everyone else.
Precisely. It allows flexibility for different languages, customs, social norms, but keeps the core principles intact. It's a really delicate balance.
Okay, what else?
Tradition 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. This is huge for global integrity. It means no outside person, organization, or government can influence AA by donating money. Financial independence keeps the message pure, protects it across all these different economies.
No one pulling the strings. Makes sense.
Then there's Tradition 9 about organization. AA, as such, ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. It explicitly says leaders are trusted servants, they do not govern. No top-down hierarchy, power stays with the groups. It's pretty radical, really.
Very different from most organizations. And what about staying out of trouble?
That's Tradition 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. This neutrality is fundamental. It means AA can exist and be effective anywhere, regardless of the local politics, religion, social issues. It stays a safe space focused only on recovery from alcoholism.
And the anonymity piece. This seems vital, too.
Absolutely. Traditions 11 and 12 cover that. Public relations based on attraction rather than promotion. No big personalities, no publicizing members, and maintaining personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. It's called the spiritual foundation of all our traditions. It protects members, sure, but it also protects the fellowship itself, keeping the focus on the principles, not people. Fosters trust worldwide. The message is key.
So when you weave all that together, the traditions, the legacies, it comes back to the shared human experience, doesn't it?
Completely. The sources say it so well. These legacies of suffering and of recovery are easily passed among alcoholics, one to the other. Its bestowal upon others like us is the one aim that today animates AAs all around the globe. It's about this universal language of shared struggle and, crucially, shared hope and a shared solution that works.
And the personal stories are central to that sharing, right? The big book's story section.
Yeah, that's called the principal means of identifying with the reader outside of a show window of results.
Hmm.
And they made a real effort, especially in the fourth edition, to include stories reflecting a huge range of racial, ethnic, gender, religious, age, occupational, and lifestyle experiences. The idea is anyone, anywhere, can pick up that book and find someone like them, see themselves in those pages. That connection is incredibly powerful.
It creates this sense of diversity within the unity.
Exactly that. The sources point out while each AA member's experiences have been different, you find people from all walks of life. But importantly, no one can speak for all of AA, and no one has to. It allows for that individual journey within the group framework.
The spirituality aspect seems key to the global success, too. It's so adaptable.
Definitely. That concept of a power greater than ourselves, as we understood him, it's not tied to any specific religion or dogma. People can interpret it in a way that works for them, whether they're religious, atheist, agnostic. It makes the spiritual core accessible across incredibly diverse belief systems worldwide. It's about connection, not doctrine.
And they even set up a way for people to connect globally, right? That New York address.
Yeah, the World Center still gets mail at Box 459, Grand Central Station. It acts as a central point for inquiries, correspondence. It ensures that even someone totally isolated, starting a group in some remote place, can reach out and connect to that wider fellowship. Nobody has to be completely alone in it.
So bringing it all home, we've traced AA from just a couple of guys, maybe 40 recoveries, to this huge, complex global network. It's reached millions in countless countries, and it's sustained by these shared principles, this commitment to service, and that simple, powerful idea of one alcoholic helping another.
Which leaves us with a pretty interesting thought, doesn't it? How does this fellowship, built on personal anonymity, where groups are autonomous, where there's no real central authority, how does that achieve such incredible global reach and unity? It really challenges our usual ideas about how large movements work. It suggests that maybe the most enduring solutions, the ones that truly span the globe, don't always come from top-down structures or famous leaders. Maybe they come from simple human connection, amplified by shared principles designed to work anywhere for anyone.